Viva Sweat. I'm the Mademoiselle and ça c'est deuxième Chanel. But if I look a little off, sound a little off, I'm a little off. What's that mal? I got a headache to the gods, but I have to film. I ain't got nothing in the vault. Usually I have like a bunch of videos on rotation, but I didn't have anything. So I was like, all right, it's time to film. As you guys can see, this is a KRIK KRAK, and that is where I read your stories. We give you guys some spiritual advice, etc., right? So first things first, if you guys are gonna send me a story, please, if it's a follow-up story, add the link to the follow-up story or the photo of the thumbnail, something, because if it is a follow-up, nobody knows what you're talking about unless you literally put the video. Like, I've done over 50 of these, technically more than that, because a lot of them have more than one story in it. So it's just like, y'all, like, please, 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 if it does not have the relevant story that you are referencing attached, I'm literally not reading it. Okay, because it confuses me, it confuses the viewers. It's bad enough I don't read these in advance and people be complaining about that. I click off. But it's just like, yes, please, please, please. Also, the KRIK KRAK email is strictly for stories. Please do not send sponsorships or try to have like conversation. I hate to say it like that, but it's like the conversation via email thing just doesn't make sense. Just DM me on Instagram. Whatever's on TikTok right now is automatically posted. I do not do the postings on there. Just hit me up on Instagram or put it in the free Discord. When it comes to video suggestions, please give your suggestions to the form. I have a form link down below. I also have a free Discord that has a video suggestion thread situation. So you can just put it in there. Do not send anything else to that email except your stories. Also, please make sure they are anonymous. I've already got caught up mad times because people want to say these people's names. Now they emailing me because somebody talked shit about them and I read the story. I don't got time. If you guys are not aware, we will be going to Brazil, July 2026. If this is something you are interested in, please make sure you guys peep all the information down below. Now, let's get into it. Hello, Yvana. You spelled my name wrong. 1 N, not 2. I would like to say that I really enjoy your videos and was actually drawn to them one day recently because someone attempted to hex me and my current boyfriend. Extremely long story. I can't think of any other reason someone would want to hex someone unless, yeah, that was the case. But hey, anyways, I wanted to send this story after I watched your video about how your friend told you she practiced Santeria and told you about a love spell gone wrong. You can address me as T in the story. I know exactly what story you're talking about. It's definitely a story time that I did about a friend in high school. But yes, this happened back in 2022/2023. I was somewhat talking to this dude. We can call him Callie. Callie was Muslim, so I never thought this would happen, but we started off as friends. How we met, he actually tried to hook me up with a close friend of his that liked me. But me and Callie actually got closer. Callie was really nice, but I don't know. Something seemed off with him, energy-wise, but I couldn't put my finger on it. Fast forward to about December 2022, around the holidays, my birthday, I started learning more about spirituality due to things I have experienced in life. I've seen ghosts, can sense when someone is sent my way to do harm, etc., but thought it was just me being paranoid. So I would get readings from a close friend of mine who still do my readings to this day. Because if someone is meant to be in my life, then they'll stay. And God always shows me in signs, mainly dreams and songs. My friend did the reading by recording a video and sent it to me. And in the video, she said that my life was going to take a better turn, XYZ. But said that she also picked up on someone doing something with my name and mentioning a full moon. Mind you, a full moon had just passed a little before the reading, and even brought up his name. I never told her Callie's name. I did some digging on my own by simply praying because I found that weird. I asked God to reveal it to me in my sleep. I didn't find out right away, but a few days after that reading, I had a very vivid dream where I was at a random lake in some apartment complex and it was a tree and moonlight. I then saw a shadow dark figure walking in the water with a jar. So I got closer to see, and sure enough, I seen Callie. He took some of the water from the lake and put it in a jar, saying, I want T to only like me despite what I have going on personally. I want her bind to me no matter what. Bound? I would hope he said bound to me no matter what, but hey. I found out he wrote my name down and wet the paper with the same water, I guess, to make the love spell work. This is one weak ass love spell. I'm sorry for all the witches and the people that practice or whatever. Like, that's the shit. That's why you found out so quick, because that's all he did. He ain't even. Let me not give nobody no ideas, but I'm just saying, like, bro, like, there's so many better ways to do a love spell, but like, I mean, hey, you gotta do what you gotta do with what you gotta. No, I can say that it did because I was so dumb over this dude, shaking my head. Still wanted to be with him after he told me he got an ex pregnant and how she was struggling to keep the baby due to getting into a bad car wreck. Yeah, you must have been under a love spell, because that's a fucking red flag. That's like insanity. He tried talking to two of my friends, would spread lies about me, begging him for money. Oh my God. Child, it was a mess. I eventually got it broken on my own by doing a cord cutting by burning candles, and everything ended. Years later, I got a reading from my big sister, a very close friend of mine, and she mentioned him and simply said, someone is getting karma for bad things they tried to send to you. And then said how she didn't know who they were, but how she was glad I never had a baby. Me too, because you're bugging. This guy is crazy. That scared me because I did have a pregnancy scare and mentioned it to Callie when we still had dealings, and he casually confirmed how he was trying to trap me, girl. Yeah, I had a man try to tell me that a couple years ago, and I wanted to beat the fuck out of him. Like, cause who does that? That actually was just weird. Well, I never touched him. So he was just on some like, oh, I'm gonna put a baby in you. It's like, anyways, I'm much better now and thriving in my current relationship and just making better choices. Thank God. I feel very lucky that I knew enough and was able to leave. I seen Callie out last year while I was out with friends and family at a function, and he did attempt to get back in touch with me that way, but I declined. I could physically feel his negative energy in that interaction and just knew he didn't change. I'm still learning more and more, trying to fully hone in on the gifts that I've noticed inside of me to control them. Thank you for reading my story and not too much on me in the comments. Yeah, y'all heard her. Not too much on her in the comments. I was very young when this occurred, and I always moved with genuine intentions, but now it's with more caution. Thank you so much for sharing. We'll try to be easy on you. Y'all heard, okay? To be honest, yeah, I mean, you was very young. We all do stupid shit. Y'all heard all my crazy stories with all these horrible ass men. It just is what it is. It comes to a point though, like this man was crazy. Like I really hope any man that exhibits any of this behavior, you run for the hills, because this is like craziness. Like, talk to your friends and got an ex pregnant. Like, yikes. That's whew, just happy you're doing better. Okay, so let's go to this next one. This next one's actually about a Jinn. Fun fact, I actually found out about Jinns like maybe a year or so ago. Like I never knew what the hell a Jinn was, but it's a honestly, I think in certain countries it's different. I don't want to call it a ghost. I don't want to call it a demon. It's many different things at the same time. That's the best way to explain. However, Google says, let me look it up real quick. A jinn is a supernatural being from Middle Eastern and Islamic mythology, created from smokeless fire and invisible to humans, but capable of taking on various forms. Sounds like a lugabo, to be honest. Hence why I said I don't want to call it a ghost, but I don't want to call it a demon, but I don't want to call it a loa, because there's a lot of different things at once, right? Hi, I was watching one of your other stories, and some dialogue in your comment section made me want to send in my story. If 2024 taught me anything, it definitely taught me that jinns are real and they can will fuck your life up. I met my husband back in 2010. We are from two different ends of the world, literally. I'm Black and from the United States. He is from Bangladesh, but his family immigrated to the US. We are different religions. I'm mentioning this because it will come to play in the story soon. Culturally, we are just completely different. His family comes from money, mine doesn't, but we make do with what we have. Anyways, we met online and instantly clicked. It was like meeting my best friend. We dated for about 8 months before I met his parents. I was so nervous to meet them, but they were kind and welcoming. He moved in with me about 3 months after I met his parents. They are very traditional, so didn't approve of it, but they accepted his decision. After about 2 weeks of living together, things got weird. You know, as soon as you said you moved in with a man from Bangladesh, I was just like, how? They don't play that shit. Obviously, you're an adult and you can do what you want to do, but tradition is tradition. Just like most Haitians don't do that either. Like, I moved out due to my circumstances, but I would have stayed home till I was married because that's a traditional thing. I'm a very traditional person, and that's just what we do as Haitians. Like, we don't, ain't no moving out before you're married. But at the same time, I feel like if you're in a toxic household, if you're in a toxic environment, you just gotta get the fuck out. I also feel like it comes to a point. Like if you're not married by 40, you obviously move the fuck out. Like even like 30, maybe I would say 30, 35, move the fuck out. Like you gotta get your life. You know, you gotta start doing things by yourself. You gotta figure out how to do things on your own. You gotta figure out how to pay bills. You gotta figure out whatever. And yes, your parents can't teach you that, but let's be real, a lot of parents don't. A lot of parents don't teach their kids shit. That's why these kids can't read. They can't do nothing. They can't fend for themselves. They can't take accountability. They can't wipe their own ass. They can barely take a shower. So it's like, it's up to you to kind of like do what you got to do, right? So the fact that that happened, I'm very sure that the family was not happy about it. Even though they let it rock, they probably want to go get a Jinn on your ass. Like, I ain't gonna hold you. That's exactly what this is giving. I didn't even read the rest of it. That's why the whole idea of like dating someone completely different from me and my culture is just something that never appealed. I feel like if it happened, it happened, right? Like if I fell in love with a white boy, I fell in love with some like, you know, Korean, whatever boy, like it would have been whatever. I would have figured it out and adapted. But it's not something I ever sought out because it's just too much for me. It always becomes a mess when you bring kids in the mix. Like you can compromise as an adult, right? However, adults are set in their ways, and there's going to be a lot of people you're going to have to convince that your love is legitimate and will last forever. And then you bring kids into it, and it's like, oh well, no, the kid's going to be Jewish. No, the kid's going to be Christian. No, the kid's going to be Muslim. No, the kid's going to be this. It's like I personally just don't want to deal with it. I'd rather not. One time we were driving and I went to park the car. As soon as I parked the car, I instantly got a weird dizzy spell and felt like I was going to pass out. I couldn't see straight. The store employees called the ambulance to rush me to the hospital. They could not find any reason why what happened to me. Another time I'm driving on the way home and I started to have terrible chest pains that felt like a heart attack. I went to the ER and they could not figure out what caused the pain or why. Mind you, I'm in good health. I don't smoke or drink. I was losing friends, money, and was leaving my hands like water. Also, home became terrible. Any little thing would spark arguments. We would be at each other's neck. It would feel like World War III was about to happen. All of this took place before we got married. After marriage, things did not get better. Even we tried to work at them. Counseling, therapy, and everything else was not changing the dynamic of the marriage. I probably should have left before getting married, but I'm glad I stayed because I found out what was going on. Yeah, I would have left. Why are we getting married if we're screaming at each other's necks? My man has never, never cussed me out, nothing, never cursed at me, nothing. Like I could count on my hand how many arguments we've had, period. And I know nobody's perfect, no relationship's perfect. The screaming, like it's World War III, should have been a sign, but in a general sense, it's like, I just feel bad that a lot of people take that as love and think that that's normal, and B, like, tolerate that. Because ain't nobody finna be screaming at me. I don't give a fuck. Like, my parents know not even to raise their voice at me. Like, since I was a kid, it's like, who are you talking to? Like, the fuck? Like, you can communicate without screaming and calling people names. That's it. You can do it. It's not hard. Like, I hate it for everyone that thinks that that's normal behavior and is subjected to such. Yes, you can have disagreements. Yes, you can argue. It don't gotta be all of that. It just doesn't. I began to start my journey with hoodoo. We all know the foundation of hoodoo is building your relationship with your ancestors. I began with a small altar, a white candle, and a glass of water. Each day I would just go there and talk to them. After the first week, I began having specific dreams. The dreams were giving me messages, but I couldn't piece them together. Night by night, they became clearer. One dream was showing me a woman walking towards me with a box, but when she got closer, she turned into a snake. Another dream showed me a message written out that said, "Don't trust her." Another dream had kids running to me and saying, clear as day, "She threw work on your marriage." I remember asking who in my dream. I turned around and it was my mother-in-law. I would not put it past her. You're black. You're not Bengali. You had the man move out before marriage. I mean, listen, it's not your fault. He's a grown man. He made his decision, right? But it's like, from their perspective, you corrupted their son. So I'm not, I did shit. You didn't even need to work with your ancestors to fucking tell me that one. As soon as you said, I'm black, I'm with a man that's Bengali, and we live together, I said, oh, it's over. It's over. Like, what? Like, child, child. Lucky that you even made it out alive with this, because those people really do not play with their traditions. I woke up in a cold sweat. My fucking heart sank. My ancestors and my spiritual team told me in my dreams that it was my mother-in-law the whole time, because I did not want to believe it. Since she was so close to me and felt like a mom, Oh, felt like a second mom. I held off on taking any action. I'm thinking I could just stay in okay, high vibration. I'm bugging. And this will make things better. Wrong. Absolutely wrong. Y'all be thinking love and light about to save y'all. It's not, but hey. In between the messages I was getting from my spiritual team, I was getting attacked by whatever she had thrown at me. In nightmares, I would see things that can't even be described, trying to grab and kill me. Nightmares of cars hitting me, drowning, being watched, things telling me to kill myself. I could feel the heat of whatever was trying to attack me all over my shoulders and neck. Keep in mind, I had no type of knowledge of how jinns work or any kind of magical systems before I met my husband. But in this situation, I had to study and learn quickly. I truly believe if I did not gain knowledge on this, I would have probably been dead. I went to a trusted practitioner and she confirmed everything I was seeing and dealing with. This bitch, my mother-in-law, was wicked but played kind in my face. She had paid a practitioner back in Bangladesh to send a jinn to me to try to kill me when her son and I started dating. That is insanity. That is just insanity, man. When we got married, she had more scent to try to cause chaos and destroy my marriage. Why? Because she did not like the fact that I was black and not Muslim. I could have told you that. I did tell you that in the beginning of this. You got the game fucked up. I don't know where you thought. I don't know where you thought, but hey, love is love. Sometimes you gotta just say fuck it and suffer the consequences. She wanted her son to marry within tradition. She wanted to ensure that I be removed from the family. She was used to having control over the family, and for some reason, she felt I was a threat. Because you're black. You already know they think that we're like, I don't know. Like a lot of different races and ethnicities, especially of women, are very intimidated by black women. Like they see us as like an ultimate threat because we're opinionated. We have very strong personalities. We take your niggas like, but no, you get the point, right? It's just like a lot of it chops up to ignorance as well. Like a lot of them have never even been around black women long enough to have a real opinion. They just know what they see in the media. They know what has been fed to them. So it's like, it's weird because you can't blame them to an extent. Like you don't know what you don't know, but it's like 2025. You shouldn't be doing shit like this. Like, Singing spells and the feelings of heart attacks I had, Jinn work. Losing people around me, Jinn work. The arguments, she was doing spell work on her son to make him more aggressive towards me. That's freaking nuts. That's just ridiculous. So many other things that happened throughout the years was a result of what she had thrown at me. His family comes from money, so she had the money to keep paying for work to be done. And over there in Bangladesh, it's literally pennies to get this type of work done. My husband is a mama's boy, so I couldn't tell him because he would not believe me. Oh my fucking God. I'm sorry to say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, girl. Going against tradition and a mama's boy. Like, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? Oh, that doesn't help. It doesn't help at all. I would rather have known if I did not start reaching out to my ancestors. Oh, I would have never known if I didn't start reaching out to my ancestors. Needless to say, I had her work removed and protection put in place so that she can't harm me or the marriage again. During this process, I found out that when you have that jinn removed, it goes back to the person who sent it. Needless to say, it went back to her. I've been at peace ever since. My marriage is calm and we are in such a better spot. Why I'm now a full believer that jinns are real. This was actually a really, really good story. Thank you so much for sharing. I'm happy you're okay now. Your mother-in-law is a piece of shit and she's a dick. And she really does too much. But at the same time, I understand tradition. I understand how those families work. I've had a lot of friends from those types of cultures. And yeah, it's something very, very sacred to them. However, I also feel like it comes to a point where you need to let your kids choose what they want to do in life. Maybe they don't want to be traditional. Maybe they don't want to follow the social norms that you've set in place or that your family have set in place, right? Even though we may not agree with this, right, as people that are part of that culture, or we may not agree with it as parents or whatever, it does not necessarily mean you need to hold it back and send jinns. Like, that is absolutely freaking nuts, right? So thank you so much for sharing again. I'd love to hear what you guys think about this story down below. Fun fact, there's actually a lot of people out there that do not believe in jinns. Like, a lot of people think that jinns are just hocus pocus and they don't exist and it's a figment of your imagination, including people of that faith. It's very interesting to me because it's like, if y'all believe in everything else, why is it so hard to believe that a jinn is real? A lot of people kind of think like a jinn is like in your head. It's like a figment of your imagination and that's what's holding you back. It's not the jinn. It's like the fear of the Jinn or the thought of the Jinn or the fact that the Jinn exists that controls you. And it's like, no, I think those things actually exist. Just like a lot of other things, right? So with that being said, make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. Like I said, peep the description box for the trip that we will be having in July 2026. If this is something you're interested in, there are payment plans available. If you guys do not start booking this, legit, it's gonna get canceled. So make sure you guys book as soon as possible. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you guys check out my other channels. Again, link down below. And with that being said, I'm gonna see y'all next time. Bye. Bye.